Let me ask you a little bit about this strange general election we have coming up. Now, we're taping this on Wednesday for the Friday podcast, and on Friday we'll be exactly 101 days away from the November 8th general election. What do you see in terms of demeanor, decorum, the way this is going to be contested?
Well, let me answer that in a little bit of a different way. In terms, Trump is going to be Trump.
Right.
And Hillary Clinton is going to be Hillary Clinton. And they're two very different people. She is not bombastic. She's not a liar, even though they want you to think she is. And she's a wonk, right? I mean, and she's going to have to put some flash and pizzazz into getting the media cycles. But what we really need to be asking is, will the media cover this seriously, or will they cover it as a reality show?
Right, right. I mean, he's getting a free ride on so many issues, it seems. I mean, I keep reading stories about, alleged sexual assaults and things in his past that, including not even releasing his tax returns. That why is it that nobody, or if they do, they ask the one question, he gives a 5-word answer, and then that's the end of it. Where's the follow-up and the ability to really pursue and pin him down?
Well, that's a great question. And that's really one of the issues I had. Just before we did this interview, I was listening to the most bizarre press conference ever while I was in the car. And Trump was asked about his tax returns, and he gave the BS answer that, I get audited, and when the audits are done. Well, that's nonsense. We all know that's nonsense. Yeah. Anybody who's had anything to do with who's ever done a tax return knows you can release the one you filed. You don't have to release it after an audit's complete.
Right.
You release the one that you filed. And so really, what the media needs to do is translate that for the public into this. Donald Trump is not releasing his tax returns. It has nothing to do with IRS audits. It has to do with him not wanting to release tax returns. It's as simple as that, they just need to say that and not pretend that answer is in any way, shape, or form legitimate. And the same is true of the other answers he gives. Today, Katie Tour asked him about, I can't even remember what it was that she asked him about. I was driving, so I was trying to pay attention to driving in a strange place. But, I mean, he shushed her and told her, I know you want Hillary to win. And that's going to get the news cycles. That's what's going to get the attention. I guarantee you that's what people are going to pay attention to, the fact that he was mean to Katie Tour.
Yeah.
And they really need to step it up, and they really need to get into the facts. And he can't be allowed to get away with just this nonsense. Like he said, Tim Kaine today was from New Jersey.
Yeah, and then he said later, asked the people of Virginia how bad his record is on jobs, and he had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. But it doesn't matter, it seems. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Last week on The Daily Show, Trevor Noah, who gets dissed quite a bit, but I happen to enjoy. He's finding his own voice. He had Christiane Amanpour on when they were in Cleveland, and Christiane said something that I thought was really, really critical. She said, we've got to stop worrying about balance and focus more on truth.
Yep. Absolutely right. She couldn't be even more right about that.
I mean, I do a lot of stuff here with the BBC, and if I say something that even sounds like it's remotely supportive of labor and it goes on for 90 seconds, the producer afterwards will say, thanks, now I got to get somebody in to talk about the Tories for 90 seconds. I mean, they're so focused on how do I get everybody to get their, whatever equal amount of time without ever asking the questions that knock them and really put them in place.
Right, and this is why the debates are going to be critical, in my opinion, because that's where the people are going to see the guy who doesn't know anything, and he'll be prepped, but it won't matter. They'll see the guy who doesn't know anything versus the policy wonk who has such a mastery of even the tiniest details, the finest details of policy, that, her struggle will be not climbing down into the weeds, and his struggle will just be keeping up.
She's going to kick his ass.
Yeah, you bet.
One last question before we call it a day here. I've been fighting periodically, as have you, with the Bernie Bros or the Berniestas or whatever, who, I mean, despite the graciousness last evening of Bernie, with the last bit, and the absolute tear-jerking moment where his brother, and who was with Democrats Abroad, which is an organization I know very well. I saw their chairman hand him the microphone and thought, this is going to be very nice. It just, are they ever going to come around, or are they just going to be these like right-wing nuts, but on the left side, out there that never want to call themselves part of anything?
Well, I think there's certainly a contingent of those. I would, put the Young Turks, for example, in that category. They would never be Democrats anyway. And I don't mean to pick on them, but, it was Cenk leading the charge with the diehards right after Bernie was gracious.
Yeah.
So if they actually really cared about Bernie, the candidate, and Bernie's candidacy and Bernie's movement, they would never have done what they did yesterday.
I mean, they actually booed him. The California delegation the day before, another Midwestern state, I can't remember which one, booed Bernie.
Right. And that's because for them, this is gone past Bernie now, and they are going to I'm concerned that they're going to marginalize themselves and in the process marginalize his message, which is, I've never disagreed with Bernie's message. Nor did I disagree with him being the messenger. I just felt that in terms of what it takes to be a president, I didn't see enough of the other qualities we need, like being able to multitask and having mastery of policy knowledge and, foreign policy.
Well, there was no there beyond the talking points.
Exactly. So that's, but I respect the message and I respect the messengers, and 85 to 90% of the people in that hall feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I heard from somebody in the California delegation that they were fist bumping with Hillary people last night, that the Bernie people were following his lead and doing the right thing. So that's why I'm saying there weren't that many people, and they would be diehards anyway. They would be the Jill Stein / Ralph Nader voters.
Well, and when you look at the polls that I've seen show that she's converted 85 to 90% of the people that need to be there anyways. And it's just always that 5%. I guess the Nader thing is still very fresh in my mind, but Hillary Clinton is not Al Gore, so.
No, she's not. And she has Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and a lot of really high-powered surrogates.
And Michelle Obama. She's amazing.
Yes, she is.
She's going to be powerful out there. Mm-hmm. Well, I wish we had more time. It would be wonderful to just spend the entire hour, just the two of us chatting back and forth, but we're not going to be able to do it. Karoli Kuns is managing editor of crooksandliars.com. Whatever you do, make that a part of your day. She is really a very, very powerful voice and a really powerful progressive voice. So you really need to take a peek at that. Thanks so much for joining us on the program today.
Thanks.
And as I keep reminding myself, it's Karoli, not Karoli. Karoli. I even practiced this morning with my daughter in the car.